I want to share my testimony of how I accepted Jesus as Savior and Lord. So it started in September of '93 when my brother took a bunch of us to church, a Catholic church. And so the first day, I sensed a presence of something bigger than me, something that I never felt before or never sensed before. And it made me wonder of who this is, who is Jesus, who is the Son of God, who is this? I want to get to know. And so decided that day for it to get to know Jesus, um, the presence I felt. Because in Isaiah it talks about, I reveal myself to those who do not ask for me. I will be found by those who do not seek me. Before going to church, I never really asked for God. I never really sought after Him, really wanted to know Him. So I decided, just from that sensing something, I decided to become a seeker, seek God, seek Jesus, who is the Son. But couldn't find Him. I couldn't really know who He was this time. So I went through the rituals of that church, hoping that God will, Jesus will present Himself to me. No answer, nothing at all. He didn't do much. He didn't say anything, and so I kept asking, "What's next? What's next?" And then suddenly He answered me a few years later, October, about I was born out of wedlock. I was shocked, surprised, and I was like, "Why?" So I stepped out and asked God, just me and God, me and Jesus. He was saying, "Why did you born me out of wedlock?" And He answered me. And so I became angry and bitter because He didn't answer me, and decided, since it represents life, I'll go for death, my own death. So I decided to practice cutting myself, so I get numb to the pain, so I can actually commit suicide, because I didn't have the courage to do that. But before that could happen, I finally found out an intervention, and so I stopped. And then several years later, getting through my business towards God, in my heart, I continued to just move forward, just not listen to God, not give God any attention and that stuff. But somehow I decided to give God a second chance. That's it, to show Himself, to answer me. So I went to this church, non-denomination Christian church, and people noticed I was in depression, but they didn't really know the anger and bitterness I had for God. And so they kept sharing this verse to me about God will never leave me nor forsake me, and that stuff. It showed it 3 times in the Old Testament, and through those people, it was just like, it made me more angry, made me have greater enmity towards God, because leave me alone. Let me rot in peace. Let me die in peace. Let me live alone, cry alone, die alone. But I refused that. He refused to let me go. It just got me more angry, more bitter at God. My rage got even more stronger. For me, I believe my anger was equal to God, equivalent to God. And that stuff, I didn't fear Him. I didn't fear God at all. But it says, rather be afraid of the one who can destroy both body, soul and body in hell. That was not me. That was not me. And so I was so angry, and so I asked God to really just bottle my anger, really hold it against Him, and I believe that my anger became so equal to God, which happens to be a lie, because it says, with whom will you compare me or count me equal? To whom will be like me, that we may be compared? God has no competition. No one can compare to Him, to His glory, to His kingdom, to Himself. I believe the lie. I was bitter. I was angry. I wished just killed me, strike me down. I decided to just figure out other ways that to make God bitter at me, make it angry at me, that He will give me what I wanted, my death. prepared for him to burn me. And that didn't work. I decided to just mess people's heads. Make people as pawns to get back at God. But he refused to let me go. He refused to leave me alone. So I decided to come to Jesus, to surrender to Jesus, because it is through Jesus that I could be reunited back to the Father. Since I couldn't defeat him, decided to surrender my life to him, to give him what he wanted, me, my obedience, my life. And so I accepted Christ as Lord and Savior. Just like it says, no one comes to the Father except for me. And this is Jesus. And so I accepted him, but still bitter, angry at him deep inside my heart. And me and Jesus finally had a conversation about this a few years ago. And I saw him, and my response was, put in a chokehold. But he showed him into me, so I let him go. And in my rage, in my anger, I asked him, why did you allow me to be born out of wedlock? Why? And he says to me, because you needed to know how much you needed me. And that's when my war, my reign, my terror, my bitterness towards God ended. I fully gave up. Because it is only through Christ I may be back to the Father. Not war, not fights, but be reconciled to God through Christ. This is my story. Thanks for listening.